Well, here we go. The first thing I want to do is to show you how to get the DWG file that a client sent to you and import it into Form Z so you can start working with it. So here I am in Form Z, and it is Command I is the shortcut for getting the model. So Command I to import, and then navigate to wherever it is you put your file that I had sent to you, and here it is. And so I'll double click on it, and you'll get this dialog box, but pretty much just go along with all of the default settings on it and just click OK. And DWG files are kind of large, so they take a little while to open sometimes. But you can see up here in the upper left-hand corner the progress, and here it comes. Okay, so this is it, and if you hold down the Option and the Command key and then push your mouse button down and hold it, you're going to get this move tool moving around in 3D space. So play with that for a little bit until you can get used to how that works. I don't know what kind of a mouse you have, but if it's an intelligent mouse, your finger on the upper part of it can zoom in and zoom out. And this is the floor plan. It looks like you've got a duplicate floor plan over here, and then the elevations, and then I don't know what this little thing is over here. But with this is your selection tool here, and with Object over on the right-hand tool. Now, every time you select a different tool over here, you get different tool options in this dialog box here. But with the Pick tool, we want to get objects. Just drag select across that and hit your delete. And then drag select, we don't need whatever that is, we don't need it. And then Command F is fit to window. So this zooms it up so you can see what you've got. So what I like to do is start off with the floor plan itself and drag select across it to capture it, do a copy, do a file, new project, Command N, and then Command V to paste, just like any of your other Adobe products. And we can use the clipboard. Doesn't make it. Okay, now when it comes in from DWG in DWG format, very often all of everything's filled with it's not just lines, but it's lines and fills. So what you need to do is you need to get rid of that. Now Command 3 is lines only. Command 2 is what we saw when it was imported, and Command 1 is a kind of a shaded render view. But when we're working with DWGs in the beginning, we want to work with Command 3 so we can see the lines. So now everything's selected, just go somewhere and deselect, and that's it. Now in Form Z, you have this little grid pattern with your Z, which is your vertical axis, your X, which is your horizontal, and your Y, that going forward and back in space indication. And if you go down here where I have this menu is down here in the bottom left-hand corner, is you'll see that view changes depending on which orientation you are clicking. And it's kind of important to know that as a basic, just as your beginning basics. Here it's just beginning to tell you when you select, you can select points, you can select multiple points, where lines cross, etc. But we'll get into that later. Don't worry about it. So do Command F to get the whole view. And if you look at your layers palette, now I've expanded my layers palette quite a bit, and DWGs very often have a lot of layers on them. They'll put everything and anything on different layers. So one of the things that I like to do in the very beginning is to clean that up. So I'm just going to go select all, and down here where you see your paint bucket, click. When you hold over or hover over any of these tools, you get a multiple choices based, in each one. So slide over to one that says layer, and we're going to move these things to a layer. So the red dot up here indicates that's your active layer. Now just to double check, hold your control key down and click anywhere on that palette and go down and see where it says paste on active layer. You want to check that. Okay, now just with the layer tool still selected over here, just click anywhere and you've moved everything that was in all of these palettes to this one layer palette. Now come up to the layer and double click on it, and let's call it plan. Let's just label it plan. Plan with an N. Okay, now holding your control key your control key down again, click, go down to just above paste on active layer to purge, and remove all empty layers. So now we've just gotten rid of all of those layers. So you then can go back up to the window, go down to your DWG file again. And the first thing we want to do is we want to get one of the elevations that pertains to, let's say, this side, this end of the church here with the portico share here, and here's the end of the church and the portico share here. So drag select across it, get your selection tool, drag select across it. Again, you want to make sure that it's in object mode up here. And we'll go over these at a later date. Do copy, and now go back to your view that we just created, and deselect and do paste. And again, clipboard is fine. Click OK, and do Command F. Because whatever's selected will be in your view at that point. So if you have nothing selected, everything that's in your document will be in your screen. What we want to do is we want to create a layer by going to the layers palette, go up to this plus sign, and make a layer called front elevation. And click OK. Make front elevation your active layer by clicking here to get the red dot. And go to your layers palette, layer changing palette, and click. Now you're moving, because when we pasted it in, it was on the plan view. Now we've moved it to the front elevation view. Now, if we zoom out, take our Option Command key and hold this up just a little bit so we have a little bit better angle on things. If you look at the elevation, this corner of the building right here is this corner over here, right there. So what we want to do is take that corner, and I just did a Command F again to center this on it, is go down here to this palette is the move tool. All of these are different kinds of moves. So what you want to do is glance over here at your tool options, and we don't want to make any copies, and that's what all of these are. We don't want it, we just want to move the object itself. So you want to make sure that that one is selected. And then click on that intersection where we know it's the church again. And now zoom over here and zoom in. Get in as close as you need to, and click on that corner, and you'll have positioned that corner on top of the plan in exactly the same location. However, it's not up the way we need it. So what we want to do is rotate it, and rotation is a move. And so we'll go to the move palette, go down here and go to rotate. Now we don't want to rotate it around this axis. We want to rotate it around this axis, okay? Because it's going to rotate up. So go back into that corner with the rotate tool selected over here. Go down in here and click on it and go up anywhere along that line and go up until it clicks 90 degrees, and it'll click a little green dot. Now you've flipped that elevation up in the correct orientation. All right. So now let's go back to your DWG, and let's get this long elevation, the one that's over here. So okay, this is looking straight in at because the porte cochere is on like a 45-degree angle, and that's that elevation right there. So we don't need that one. We want this one up here. So go get our selection tool again. Click anywhere to deselect the first elevation. Come down here, drag select across, pick it. And what I would do again is copy. Go to your window. Go down to your I haven't named it yet, but we will. Go down here and deselect again. Now, if you leave something selected when you paste something in, it's actually going to remove what was selected and paste the new. So that's why we keep deselecting. So that elevation is on our clipboard. We go paste, and we want to see it. So we'll do Command F. Now, this corner is kind of in that same orientation where we had the very first corner. So since we've been dealing with it, let's go down to our Move tool and just double check to make sure you're not making copies. And that's usually just a glance over there. Go down and click on that corner. Zoom out so you can see your plan. Now zoom in again into that specific corner. And once you get into that corner, click. Okay, now this one, we've got to rotate it around in plan view 90 degrees, and then we've got to rotate it in two rotates, right? So go down here and click in the plan orientation. Go back up here and click the rotate tool again. Zoom in a little bit, make sure you're on that intersection right there. Go out here. Now, let's just show. It doesn't really make any difference where you click, okay? Because out here as soon as you click, they give you a couple little guides. So there's a little faint green line there. You can barely see it. If you click on it and rotate around, you can look up at the very top of your screen, and you'll see as it rotates around, there's the angle. So when you glance up there and see 90, click. Okay, now we need to rotate it one more time to get it up in its correct orientation, and that would be rotating it along this axis. So again, rotation tool is still selected. Here, click and hold and rotate up until you see the green, and there it is. Okay, so now you've got that orientation in the correct orientation. But we don't want it buried in the middle of the model. We want it out here somewhere. So that's a move. Go here to move. Make sure you're not making any copies. Click and hold in that corner and move it out in front of the plan somewhere. Now, it'll go anywhere, but if you're on that red line, see that it's green, it'll snap to it. So you just click and hold. Now, it's currently on the front elevation layer, which is not going to help us. So we need to make another layer. We need to call it side elevation. And hit enter. Now we got to move it to the side elevation. So we want to make the side elevation the current layer. We want to go down to the layer move tool. We want to click. Okay. All right. So that gives us both of those elevations. We can turn off an elevation. Now, that's another thing. When you click once on the eyeball, it ghosts the elevation. You click a second time and it turns it off. So lots of times when you're working, it's helpful to, make it as clean as possible so that you can see what you're up to. So that is the first go around.